a classmate came to me and he brought a cassette and he's like, you have to listen to this. And I was like, oh, what is it? So I played it, took it home and I played it, and it was what we call techno, house music back then. And I was blown away because I had never heard anything like that, because I was all into listening to classic rock. And that's what really started my journey with becoming a DJ.
Welcome to the My SGV podcast. Our mission is to capture and share the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley. We believe our diversity is what makes the SGV great. And no matter where you're from in the San Gabriel Valley, you will feel welcome.
All right, SGVers, welcome back to another episode of the My SGV podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you spending this time with us. And if you're new here, we bring you the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley. And if you're a returning listener, thank you so much for joining us again. Well, Scott, when we first started this, we were just talking about that the only skill that I knew I had was the ability to make people feel comfortable, which is, necessary in this show that we have. But I knew nothing about like camera equipment, audio equipment, lighting, zero. Like I had zero experience with any of that.
Yeah, you may not have known anything, but at least you had the, curiosity and the sort of the drive to find out what is needed, because you knew nothing, but I know nothing. And so you took the time to find out, and we've got a very nice studio. I know people can't see it, but a very nice studio with excellent equipment. And you did all that yourself.
Well, with Victoria's help also.
And Victoria.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I believe in myself that I have the ability to learn and find out information. But even then, it was a learning curve, right? Like the lighting and the background and the sound and all of that, like those were all very foreign to me. But in listening to people's story, what I really believed in was people were like, just start. Even if it's just on your iPhone, just start. If it sounds or looks bad, just start. And that we would grow and learn.
Right.
But even more than that, I believed that people would see and appreciate the journey. If you just show up and you're polished and everything, like, it's not relatable. But if they see that you've come from, our first show, which was cringe, right? like to now, it's very different.
Yeah, definitely. We started in my living room, and the equipment was not as nice. You can tell by going back and looking at the early shows.
Yes,
the production is not what it is today.
Sure.
But so there's been a journey. But that is all what you and Victoria did, and I just sat here.
Well, guests come. And they say, wow, it's surprising to them what it looks like in here. And I feel this sort of like, just like I did today, I'm not a professional, I don't know these things, but it feels good, right? That they
and we have a professional today.
We do, absolutely, yeah. And so, and that he said that it looked nice and he appreciated it, so that feels really good too.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into our guests, I want to give a thank you to Paris Baguette San Gabriel, the always provide these refreshments and treats that we have to resist every week. So thank you, Paris Baguette. Well, I was excited when I first found out about our guests. Well, because there's a musical background there of liking and entry into that world, I guess, but that he also is from Alhambra High School. And, that's a rival of a high school of mine. So I was, instantly intrigued, and I want to learn more about his story. His name is Rocke Sanchez, and he's a DJ and avid tech. Welcome to the show, Rocke.
Thank you for having me.
So for those who don't know, what is a DJ and avid tech?
So I'm a DJ tech and an avid tech. And what a DJ tech does is, so at a music festival or an event, you make sure that the gear is hooked up properly for each artist, because every artist plays on different gear or different equipment. So you have to make sure that everything is hooked up correctly. And the avid tech part of it is, I work for a avid rental house company where we rent out editing gear for post-production, television, movies, stuff like that.
I see. Okay, cool. Well, Rocke, the show is the My SGV podcast. What's your connection to the San Gabriel Valley?
So I grew up in Monterey Park since the age of 10. I wasn't born here, but I did grow up here and went to high school and elementary here.
And you grew up in Monterey Park, but you went to Alhambra High?
I did.
Whereabouts in Monterey Park did you grow up?
Do you know where Sequoia Park is?
On the hill, yeah.
Yeah, right up on the top of the hill.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And so did you go to Brightwood?
I did go to Brightwood, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was it like growing up in the SGV in that area?
I loved it. It was great. I'll go back a little bit further. Before I came to Monterey Park, I was homeless. Me and my mom had a rough life, and my mom met my stepfather, who I consider my real father today, and he gave us a better life. I think I was like the age of 9 or 10, and at that point when I came here, it was like a whole new world because everything was like so much better. It was life-changing for me.
Where were you living? I mean, you say it's homeless, but what area? And what was your life like?
It was on and off homeless. So I was born in San Bernardino, and we moved, I can say almost every city from San Bernardino here, West Covina, Colton. I lived in Southgate for a little bit. We would travel around. We'd live in a car. Sometimes we would have a house. And I don't know how, well, I do know how my mom did it, but I won't say how she did it, but it was good times and bad times, but a lot of bad times. But yeah, very interesting. Eating out of trash cans, just weird stuff like that.
Living in a car?
Living in a car at a park, different parks. Yeah. So.
Were you aware as a child like this was not the norm?
At first I didn't. Not till I came to Monterey Park living here, and I was like, oh, this is what a normal life is. So I didn't notice it until then. And as I got older, I was like, oh shoot, I lived an interesting life.
What a brand new world that was.
Oh, It was game changing coming. That's why I have so much love and passion for this city of Monterey Park. It's because it was a whole new life for me, and it made a better life for me thanks to my father.
What about schooling when you were in that predicament?
There was really no schooling. I vaguely remember going to school like here and there, but I didn't really get a good education until I came here. And when I came here, I was in special ed. And I was in special ed probably from as long as all the way through high school. Even when I graduated, I was in special ed. So I had like a learning disability.
Oh, you were always special
ed, yeah.
What's the learning disability?
Just have a hard time with spelling. Spelling was like a big one for me. Yeah. And I still do. I still have it. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you very comfortable writing and reading?
I'm more comfortable reading than I am writing. Writing is a little harder for me. Mm-hmm. Like I can read words better than I can write.
Was English your native language?
Yeah. English was mine. Yeah.
Okay. So education was a very unique experience for you. First none, and then special ed, right?
When I came here, I couldn't even spell my last name or my first name, and I was 10 years old. So it was kind of crazy when they were even shocked that I didn't know how to do that.
Right. Yeah.
So,
but you had developed a different kind of education during that time. Maybe not a traditional one, but you must have learned all kinds of stuff. Just to be able to survive.
Yeah, I guess more like I don't know, I guess you want to call it like streets kind of.
Yeah. What was your self-worth?
I never looked, well, I guess I did look down on myself a little bit, but it wasn't that bad.
When you came to Monterey Park and you couldn't write your name, did you feel ashamed, or was there
embarrassed.
Anything like that?
I was embarrassed for sure. I still am embarrassed to this day. Sometimes I can't even spell a word, and I'm just like, oh my God, how do I not know that? And I should know how to spell that. But yeah, it was rough. It was
but your verbal skills seem to be very good.
Yeah, they've gotten better as I've gotten older. It's become fluent now, understanding. Yeah. So.
Wow. So your life was in an instant just immediately better.
Yeah, it was game changing. And also too, my mom was a big heroin addict at that time when I was younger, and I used to watch her all the time shooting up, and it was normal to me. I didn't really think of like is this normal? Like it didn't really click until I came here, and then it all registered. I was like, oh, my mom really had a problem.
Well, you would actually see that. Now, I have a question. Did you grow up alone with your mother? Or were there ever other people around?
There was my mom, and then there was another man. His name was Don. He was around, and they were both addicts together. But I would spend a lot of time, I remember spending a lot of time with his parents. And I called her my grandma. Her name was Grandma Mary and Grandpa Jack. And I spent a lot of time, they lived in Southgate, and I was raised there a lot. So that was a good aspect of that time, being around them. So,
but he is not your stepfather.
No, that guy, he passed away a long time ago. And when it was, once my mom met my new dad, he was out of the picture.
Well, I have never seen anybody shoot up, if that's the right term. And I've never been around people that do it. I don't know what it's like, but when that was happening, where did your mother go in terms of physically or just mentally?
Yeah, she would just, she would do her thing, and then she would kind of pass out, and I would kind of go and do my own thing. I would sometimes just walk out of the house and roam the streets and then just come back, which sounds weird, like a 7-year-old, 8-year-old roaming the streets in the middle of the night and no one caring like where I was, and just did my own thing. It's kind of weird.
Physically, were you bigger and stronger than other people? You seem big.
That's right? Funny. So I've always been small. I didn't get bigger until about high school, I had this big growth in high school. So
wow. Thank you for sharing that part of your life and story with us. So I think of that area by Sequoia Park as more affluent than other areas in Monterey Park. Is that correct, or is that a...
Yeah, I think you're correct. Yeah, it's definitely.
So now your life is changed, but were you free from the effects of growing up that way? Like,
yes and no. So then after we came here, my mom got on methadone, which is basically a medicine. It's basically just a replacement for heroin, and it kind of kept her level. But she had split personalities. So one day she'd be really nice, and then the next day she would like flip out. So it was very difficult to be around. I'm shocked my father stayed with her. Thank God he did, but she was a little crazy. Wow. I love her so much, but she was...
Are they still together?
So my mom passed away 3 years ago, February, and so they're not together, but my father is still alive.
Wow. So you're going to Brightwood, and then you go to Alhambra High.
Yeah.
Is that where you're supposed to go from that area, or did you?
You know what's crazy is when I graduated Brightwood, all my friends were going to Mark Keppel, and I was super excited. Let's go to Mark Keppel because I'm really close to Mark Keppel, and I went to registration, filled out everything, and then a couple weeks later they're like, "Oh, you can't go here. You have to go to Alhambra," and I was like, "What?" But I'm right here. Like I have to go all the way over here. So I don't know why they did that. It was funny. After we graduated Alhambra, they changed it, and I would have went to Mark Keppel after.
Oh,
so
wow.
it kind of sucked, but
sucked because you had to go to Alhambra.
Yeah,
I'm just joking because
I wasn't even a big fan of Alhambra. I had a lot of friends that were in Sure High School, and I would always hang around with the Sure High School people. So it didn't have the school, whatever you want to call, like the pride.
And what was high school like for you?
High school was fun. It was a little bit of a struggle. I didn't really get made fun of, but I felt like people like looked down on me because I was in special ed, but it didn't really bother me. Yeah.
And where does the music come into your life?
So when I was in 8th grade in Brightwood, actually, I should say this before. When I moved here with my dad was a huge vinyl collector. He had tons of records from Chicago, Eric Clapton, all these classic rock stuff. And so I started listening, and I got into that. And when I was in 8th grade, I remember a classmate came to me, and he brought a cassette, and he's like, "You have to listen to this." And I was like, "Oh, what is it?" So I played it, took it home, and I played it. And it was what we call techno, house music back then. And I was blown away because I had never heard anything like that, because I was all into listening to classic rock. And that's what really started my journey with becoming a DJ.
Techno is the kind of European style, or
yeah, it's just it's a style
dance
of
music?
dance music. You want to, a lot of people call it EDM.
Okay.
Yeah, it's under an umbrella of,
Now, about what year was this, just to get
I'd
some
say like
perspective?
91.
You were
maybe?
in 8th grade?
Yeah, I was in
about
8th grade.
91?
Yeah, 91.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the group? Do you remember?
No, it was a mix. I don't even remember exactly who it
okay.
was, but it was like a mix from somebody. And I was just like, whoa, this is awesome. So I started researching of like, what is DJing? How do you get into that? And I slowly looked into, like, I don't know if you know who Richard Humpty Vision is. Yeah. So he has a show called Power Tools, and I used to listen to that every night. And
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
yeah,
Wow.
that was a big influence. Got me
So
into
that was in 8th grade.
Yeah,
So then did you pursue like that kind of music throughout high school?
I did. So I started buying records, and I wasn't really, thought I was DJing, but I wasn't really DJing until I got out of high school. And then I got a job at a record store. And then that's when I started learning actually how to DJ, and everything that I was doing before was incorrect.
And when you say DJ, I'm imagining, vinyl, right?
Yeah.
Like two turntables and something in the middle. And nowadays I don't see that, right? It's all
Yeah,
electronic.
everything's digital now. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
So were you DJing like parties, underground parties, raves?
A little bit in the late 90s, I would do a lot of like underground parties. So yeah.
For the listener who may not know, or maybe you haven't attended these, I remember it was, you go to some shop, right? Skate shop, maybe on Melrose, and there'd be all these flyers, and you had to call a number the day of, and then maybe that place took you to another place, or you had to call another number, and then you would go there and you would get the directions to this party like an hour before.
Yeah.
And it would take you somewhere, and it'd be a warehouse, and you're like questioning whether or not this is the place. And then you just like hear the music.
It's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
there was a couple times where you would get a flyer, and then you would go to like a McDonald's. You would get to that McDonald's, and someone else would give you another flyer, and then you would go somewhere else. And then I remember one time I ended up driving way in the forest somewhere, like an hour away, and I was like, "Is this safe?" But at the time, you didn't really think about it. But
And
Yeah.
what was the reason for all that? A lot of drug use, so you had to hide it, or what?
no, it's just the music was considered an underground scene, so it's, people looked down on it, and it wasn't like you can go to a club, and I mean you could have, but it was the underground thing to do, I guess.
Yeah. Even in bowling alleys,
Bowling alleys, yes,
roller rinks. Yeah. And they always had the threat of being shut down.
yes.
Why? I mean, there's no drug use.
No, there's drug use.
There is.
Yeah. But they're not, like, you're not supposed to have that many people there,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people throw these parties without permits. They would just find a warehouse or somewhere and just go break in and set up a sound system, and yeah.
We talked about, during that time, I think in the late 90s, early 2000s, these music festivals or the raves were held often at the National Orange
The Nas
show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big parties, and now they're enormous. Like EDC, I went to the first EDC at Nas, and now it's in Vegas, and it's multiple days.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
It's crazy to. I actually went to the very first EDC too, and as a festival goer, and now here we are, 30 years later, and I'm now working these shows. So it's
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
awesome. It's
So are you working shows? That's maybe one of the biggest.
yeah, it's the biggest. I think I could be wrong, but I think it's the biggest North America rave in the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
think it's like 160,000 people a day or something like that. Maybe even more now.
In Vegas?
In Vegas at the National Speedway, I think it's called, the Las Vegas Speedway. It's north of downtown Las Vegas, probably like 20 minutes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump over your story there. So in high school, you're learning about this music, and then you said you started DJing these sort of parties. And what was that like for you?
That was fun. It was very good. Yeah. It was finally, once I figured out the formula of DJing, it opened up a whole new thing. Like I was able to play parties, people were booking me, and yeah, it was great.
And are you like a celebrity once you're a DJ?
No, I wouldn't say. Back then, it wasn't like that. DJs weren't really celebrities. It wasn't like a cool. I mean, it was a cool thing to do, but back in the day, to become a DJ, you had to have some sort of money to get records, and I would do whatever I could. I would, collect cans or try to do whatever I could, wash my dad's car, do side jobs to collect money and I would spend all my money on buying records just to do my passion. And then working at the record store helped.
Do you remember names like Christopher Lawrence?
Oh yeah.
Doc Martin.
Oh, amazing.
Donald Glaude.
Donald Glaude's one of my favorites.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah. These are DJs?
These are DJs. Yeah. But they were I think they were pretty popular.
Yeah, they were the big names back in the day. They were the rock star DJs. Yeah.
We would see their names on these flyers and we're like, oh, we want to go to this party just to see this DJ. I'm curious, can you what is the formula for DJing?
So there's mixing and key. So there's different keys of music. And then there's also beat matching. And then there's mixing. You just don't blend a track in whenever. There's like a certain point where tracks will come in and out, where everything breaks down at the same time, and snares come in or come out. So there's a formula to doing it. It's not just playing two records together.
And was this self-taught?
At the beginning it was, but like I said, I didn't really do it correctly until I worked at the record store and people started teaching me, you're doing it wrong. You need to do this and you need to do that. And then it started making sense.
Wow.
So, yeah. And then reading the crowd too. That's another thing. Like when you're playing a track and trying to feel what they want to hear, what's going to make them move is also a big part of it.
When you DJ, do you play all types of music, or is it all electronic dance?
I play only electronic, house and techno, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm not what they call an open format DJ. An open format DJ will play everything, like almost like you would hear at a wedding.
Yeah, okay. So that was the most recent place I've been, is a wedding, and there was all kinds of music.
Yeah, so they played everything from soul to classic. They just went,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Okay.
At these raves, there would be rooms and different genres of music.
Oh.
And so you would see the lineup, and if you were familiar, you would know, like, okay, this is the house room, this is the drum and bass room, this is, the techno room. And we would sort of follow these DJs that played the style of music that we liked. Yeah.
Yeah. So you went.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a fun time. Yeah, it was a fun time. But the music now I think is quite different, right? Or is that an accurate statement?
No, it's still kind of the same. Just over the years, some music has become more popular than other music. For a time, house was really big, and then hard house was really big, and then dubstep got really big, and so it's always been rotating. But right now, I feel like house and techno are like really, really popular right now. Yeah, that's the.
I don't listen to so much really amplifying, like progressive, and then there's like this huge drop. Yeah, I don't listen so much to that anymore. But I used to really like appreciate that, especially in an environment where there's a whole bunch of people together enjoying it. I mean, imagine like this, Scott, like the NBA Finals, and it's under 2 minutes in Game 7, and the crowd is like that into it for hours. For hours.
Yeah. Just think about everybody trying to make the last shot and the crowd going crazy every time it's made. That's what it's that kind of.
The energy and the intensity is like that, but extended over a huge amount of time.
And you're the one playing the music.
So now I'm behind the scenes. I set up the gear and make sure that the DJs that are playing.
Okay.
So my career as a DJ in 2010 kind of fell off. Unfortunately, EDC was here in Los Angeles, and a young lady had passed away from overdose. And after that happened, they stopped doing. They were cracking down on like all the parties that I was playing. So I kind of stopped DJing, and I kind of fell into DJ teching. I was already doing the DJ teching before, but I fell into it after that, like heavily. And so I just continue doing that. And that's become like my passion more than DJing, which is crazy because I really love DJing. I still DJ, get to DJ some cool stuff still.
What's it like when you anticipate a really, large crowd, they're really into it, and you're gonna, drop this track or this beat, and they respond positively? Like, what does that feel like?
Oh, it's got to be one of the greatest feelings. It's I don't even know how to explain it, but it is. You chase after that feeling all the time. It's kind of a high. It's like being high. You constantly want that.
Wow. Well, Rocky, we ask each guest to bring an item with them. What did you bring with you today?
I bought a record with me.
So I noticed it's a Queen album.
Yeah, it is a Queen album. So the album itself doesn't represent anything in particular. The album itself represents my father showing me a better life and introducing me to music. So this is a pretty powerful thing with records, I feel. I still have my record collection that he had, and I still keep it.
Is this part of it?
This is part of it, yeah. Yeah, so... And also, too, it has another little side meaning is it's records are how I started DJing, so that's another passion that I have. So it has two things, but the big thing is my father giving me a better life, and this, I think, represents that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us and bringing that in. Music is so different today that, that represents something that's tangible. You can hold it, you can feel it, you can look at it, read it, look at the art.
Yeah.
You can maybe even smell it, the vinyl, and that's all gone.
It's still there, surprisingly. Since I DJ tech, I've been seeing a lot more DJs playing on vinyl. Like this past weekend, I worked a show at I don't think it's called Grant Ray Park in downtown Los Angeles. And we had a couple DJs playing vinyl. So
wow.
It's still there. There's a lot of people that are dedicated to playing it, and I love it. I love to see that.
Wow. I want to go on to where your career is now, or your life journey is now, but let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
At Wormuth Law, they believe that just because you speak a foreign language, come from a different culture, or simply don't know how to navigate the legal system, that should not prevent you from compensation from injury or receiving benefits. Their multicultural staff have been helping SGVers like you for over 38 years. Visit law888.com or call them at 626-784-7017 and tell them you heard about them on this podcast.
All right, we're back with Rocky. Rocky, you were sharing with us your musical journey and sort of a transition to what you're doing now as a result of some unfortunate events at EDC Los Angeles, I think. Before we move on to the rest of your story, when we come back from break, we'd like to ask a question from this box, icebreakers. They're supposed to be lighthearted, so you can choose to answer them or not. And it's just a way for the audience to get to know all of us a little bit better. Okay, what show on Netflix did you binge watch embarrassingly fast?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would have to say it was probably Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good show.
What's funny is, that's one of our shows that we rent gear to. And we would always go set up gear, and they're like, you have to watch this show. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And there were like 5 seasons in. And then finally I was like, I'm going to give it a chance. And I watched it, and I was like, wow, like this show is amazing. So that was probably the first show I ever watched from start to finish. And
wow.
I did it like in days, I think.
Wow. The only one that comes to mind is Cobra Kai. Have you seen Cobra Kai?
Oh, that is a good one. Yeah, I haven't finished it, but that is a good one. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, and they tie in so many references and characters even from the original movies, which is really cool. And I love the original Karate Kid, so we watched that. We binge watched that together as a family.
Nice. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Oh, here you go, Scott.
Yeah, I was just looking up. I believe it was called Dead to Me, something like that. It was set in Orange County. It was really fascinating.
What's the show about?
It was about a real estate agent in Orange County, and she got involved in a death and a murder, and it was really, really interesting. And I'm trying to even remember the name of the star. Christina Applegate.
Oh, okay.
It's a black comedy drama called Dead to Me.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. It premiered on May 3rd, 2019, and it was renewed for a second series. Yeah. And then Christina Applegate is a well-known actress, and she's suffered from, I believe, MS in recent years.
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
So in the later episodes, you see her actually with MS.
Wow.
Yeah. But it really is a fascinating show, compelling.
She is a good actress, and I always remember her as Kelly Bundy.
Yeah,
right?
Kelly Bundy. Yeah, exactly. Had a crush on her.
Yeah. Well, and she was beautiful in this as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think maybe Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Is that her?
Yeah, that is her. Yeah, that is another funny one.
Yeah. Well, for the listener, what show on Netflix did you binge watch embarrassingly fast? Let us know in the comments, and we'll be sure to share that on a future episode. Well, Rocke, so your career sort of takes a turn after that, and you start doing more of the setup type stuff. And what's that been like for you?
It's been great. I've like I said earlier, I've grown a passion to do it, and I really, really love it. I look forward to coming up with new ideas to do things, and that's kind of created another business of mine that I've created called SHÄDÖW Sun Covers, and we create tools to use in the DJ booth.
Oh, awesome! Yeah. So before we go into SHÄDÖW?
SHÄDÖW, yeah.
So how do you get into setting up stuff for a show like Breaking Bad?
So my company, we're pretty well known. We're a small company, and it's just been a word of mouth. Luckily, we've had some powerhouse shows like Breaking Bad, which is awesome. And it's, I give a shout out to my bosses, David and Greg. They have an amazing company and they run an amazing company. And we're fortunate enough to work on cool shows like that. So.
And how do you get into doing EDC?
Another company that I do side businesses for the DJ tech stuff, that's one of their clients, Insomniac. So we get to do all their shows as DJ techs. So it's not an easy business to get into, but it's an easy job to do. If it's basically just plugging in cables and knowing the gear. And
so for something like EDC, how is it all just set up, or are you also managing and monitoring throughout the whole
throughout the whole show? Yeah. So we get there, for example, EDC will start on a Friday. We'll get there Thursday night and do sound checks on all the stages, make sure everything is running correctly. And then the following day we'll get there. The show probably will start like at 5, I think, 4 or 5, and we'll probably get there around 11 or 12 a.m. depending on call time. And then we run the whole show until 5 a.m. and then we redo it every day for 3 days. Hours, very long hours.
Do you get to enjoy the performances there?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people that you get to work with. I've got to work with Justice, who I'm a big fan of. Tiesto. I just worked with Tiesto not too long ago, which was kind of cool. I get to work with a lot of artists that I'm familiar with, and that's a cool thing.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Wow. And the Las Vegas Speedway, it must be enormous.
Oh, it's massive. It's massive. And as I've worked there, because they've used more and more and more of the actual speedway, because before it was just cut down and they would use sections of it. Now they use the entire thing, and now we're they're doing stuff outside of the speedway too. So that's just
can you imagine the enormity of this event, Scott? It's over multiple days, and the hours are just incredible, and the size of the venue is just huge.
It's massive.
I think you said 160,000 a day.
Something like that.
In.
I could be wrong. It could be higher now, but it's up there. It's high. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, and I can't even fathom preparing to go party for multiple days at a time. I just
yeah.
I can't think of any event that is bigger than that.
I think Coachella is bigger than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, Coachella is more of a variety of music, bands, DJs. So it's a different kind of style of music.
Do you get to work Coachella?
I have not. It's a bucket list of mine to work there, but I haven't got to work it.
I see. Yeah. And so talk about your company Shadows. What are you guys doing with
But
that?
can I go back to Coachella?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
keep the music down because I have a home there and I can hear it from my house.
Really? Where do
Yeah.
you live? Where's
It's called Palm Desert.
okay?
Yeah,
you
which-
can really hear it there from up.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with it 3 weekends back.
But it doesn't really bother me. I mean, I can hear it. I'm aware of it, but it's not like I'm right next door.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
it's like it must be miles away. But I can hear it.
That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
You should Airbnb your place, Scott.
That's got to be a great business for people out there during that time. They
Yeah.
must make a killing out there.
I think they do.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but you also run the risk of them destroying your place.
Yeah.
That is true too.
Yeah. Wow. Sorry, I forgot where I was going.
For Shadows, you were asking
Yes.
about. So we build DJ tools for the booth. Like we've created sun covers to block the sun to cover the CDJs. That's been a big seller. And then I've created a harness for the DJ booth, which makes it a cleaner and faster way to set up everything. So it's funny, if you ever see pictures, you'll see behind the DJ's gear, it's just a rat's nest of cables. And I was like, we need to come up with an idea. Actually, me and my buddy Gaspar, who's helped me design it, and we came up with the idea of like having a clean, nice look so it doesn't look like a rat's nest. So, and we have a lot of other things coming out, so it's gonna be a good year for us. Super excited for the things that are gonna change the game.
Awesome. And I saw on your social media that you were on a cruise.
A cruise, yeah. So it's called Groove Cruise, and I've been doing Groove Cruise for the past 20 years, and it's basically a festival on a cruise ship. Probably, I think I heard there was like 4,000 people on the ship. So, and it's nonstop partying, that one.
And where does the cruise go?
It varies. This last one we went to the Bahamas.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes we go down to Mexico. We go into Jamaica. Where else?
So it's just constant party?
Yeah, it's just constant parties, like 72 hours of nonstop partying. Yeah,
Wow.
that is
one of the big name cruise lines. And
Yeah, so we've done Royal Caribbean, we've done Princess, we've done Celebrity. So it always changes.
And so everybody on the cruise is there for that reason.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
I mean, it's not like you find yourself on this ship and
Yeah.
it's all party and you wanted to use the library.
The funny thing about it, when they first started doing this, they wouldn't charter, so they would only be like 500 people. And then you would wake up in the morning and some of these people are still partying, and then you start seeing families and stuff coming out like that. But now they charter the whole boat. So everybody on the boat is actually a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've only been on a few cruises in my life, and the demographics were not of the partying age, you know. Well, in this life of music festivals and cruises, do you have much time for like your own social life and relationships?
I do. I have my wife, Brenda, who's the backbone of me. She's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing and able to do what I'm doing. She helps me in everything. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for her. So I try. I should try to do more stuff with her, but I've been focusing so much on trying to get everything going and working, and so. But yeah, she's my everything. She's powerful.
Do you live locally?
Yeah, still live in Monterey Park. Live right by the Cascades, right behind the Monterey Park Hospital. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Do you guys have children?
No. Thank goodness, no kids.
Oh, you said thank goodness.
Yeah, no kids. We're both on the same boat. Don't want kids. We just enjoying each other and going through life together. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that journey with us. We're going to move on to the final segment of the show where we get to know more about what you like in the San Gabriel Valley. All right, Rocky, this is the segment where we call the SGV3, and we ask you to share your 3 favorite or most memorable places or experiences in the San Gabriel Valley.
All right.
What is number 1?
Number 1 would be Yang's Kitchen
on
Main Street. That place is so good.
Really?
Yeah. I love going there for breakfast.
What do you get there?
They have like a steak and egg and like a hash brown thing. Oh, the way they cook the steak is absolutely amazing. And their ice cream is really good.
It's funny, Yang's Kitchen,
Yeah.
and you mentioned steak, eggs, and ice cream.
Yeah. It's kind of a hipster
With a
spot.
side of noodles.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that
Yeah.
to come, steak, eggs, and hash browns. But okay, Yang's Kitchen, that's in Alhambra, right?
Yeah, right across the street from Boiling Crab, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Highly recommend it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you left yesterday. Vanessa from Agnes was our guest yesterday. She owns she's a cheesemonger in Pasadena. She is friends with the owners of Yang's Kitchen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so she was going to refer them to us to come on the show.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
do it.
Tell us about Yang's Kitchen.
They're bringing they bring a new feel to I want to say like a hipster kind of feel that we don't have here. So it's kind of refreshing. Like I love
24-hour.
It's not 24-hour.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It's like a hipster kind of new, different
something
feel.
you'd see in Silver Lake.
Silver Lake, exactly, something like that. I feel like San Gabriel's kind of missing that. I'm pretty sure there's other places like that, but this is the only one that I found here that I was like, oh, this is great.
Awesome. And what would be number 2?
Number 2 is New. I think it's called New Noodle City or New City. Yeah, something like that. It's off of Valley Boulevard. That place is so good.
Noodle City.
Yeah, I think it's called New Noodle City.
And where is that?
It's on Valley and 6th Street. There's like a tire shop right on the corner.
Is that the old Noodle Planet?
No, it's not the old Noodle Planet. It's a little bit closer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you like to get there?
The chicken soup.
Chicken soup.
Oh, highly recommend it. The chicken soup is really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the service is really good there. They always, every time I go in there, they remember me and they always give me like a free drink, and it's like good people running it.
Yeah, New Noodle City.
Yeah, New Noodle City.
Yeah.
Is your wife Asian?
She is not.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, but you grew up in Alhambra, Monty Park, so you've been around all this kind of cuisine most of your life.
Yeah,
Right.
my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah, or not my whole life, but
And what would be a third?
my third I would have to say would be Barnes Park. I love Barnes Park. Me and my wife try to go walking there every day because we live so close. And I love the fact that they are the first city around here that started bringing electronic music, like a dance event, to the city. And that's really awesome to see an actual like city supporting that.
Did you work that event?
I actually played a couple of them, yeah.
Oh, you played it?
Yeah.
You DJ'd?
Yeah, I got to DJ a couple of them, so it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And do you remember Barnes Park when they had a fire engine in the playground?
I do. God, that was a long time ago. I do remember that.
And they had that spinning, wheel of death where you could spin your friends off.
Oh yeah, that was a death trap right there.
And there was this auditorium sort of in the back, right, with like wooden seating. And there was did you ever go there swimming in the summer?
I never went swimming there.
There was this little brown shack that only opened in the summer, and they would sell these, chips with this jarred salsa on it and cheese for like $1.
That is awesome. I never tried that. I wonder if they still do that. The brown shack isn't
it's like
there
a little
anymore.
tiny
It's gone.
brown shack.
I think it's gone.
Yeah.
I think it is gone.
But the swimming pool is still there.
Yeah.
And I heard that they have pickleball there now.
Yeah, pickleball is so huge. We'll walk sometimes early in the morning, like at I'm gonna say like 6:30, and they're out there playing pickleball. Like a full people, like 10, 15 people playing pickleball. That sport is no joke.
Actually, now that I think about it, Barnes Park has a lot to offer.
They do.
There's also an indoor basketball gym.
Yeah.
There's an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
The auditorium.
There's the auditorium. There's baseball diamonds. Wow. And they have this music event. Are you going to play again this year?
I'm not sure. I've been the guy who hosted. His name is Rob, and I help him try to put it together. So I don't expect to play all the time, which is okay. But I'm always willing to help and donate whatever I can to make it happen because it's a good cause.
What's the turnout look like?
So it's gotten bigger every year. I think the first time we did it, we had maybe 500-600 people. And I think this last one, it looked like we probably had 1,500 to 2,000. We had over 50 vendors on the last one, which was really nice.
Wow.
So like artists were there selling stuff and just different little boutique things. So
Awesome. Well, Rocky, it's been an interesting conversation. A lot of memories that you sort of brought back in sharing your story. I'm really glad that you came on here and shared your story with our audience. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
No, thank you for having me, guys.
Rocke, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Instagram _ROCKEE. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me if you're interested to see what I'm doing or have any questions. I'm always willing to answer or help anybody out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rocke, for sharing your story with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, there you go. Another episode in the books. That was really fun for me. I enjoyed going down memory lane and sort of those experiences. I think Rocke and I are probably of similar age and certainly grew up in a similar environment here in the San Gabriel Valley. And maybe some of those stories also resonated with you. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can check out our full back catalog of episodes on our website, mysgv.net. And until next week, we'll see you then.
Thank you for joining us on the My SGV podcast. Check out more of our content on our website, mysgv.net. This show was produced by Russell Mono and edited by Victoria Allers of Kind Monster Productions. If you'd like to join us next week as we capture and share more stories from our diverse community, feel welcome.
Nice mother. No, kind mother.